All right, listen up, Spuds. This is Zap Brannigan, master of time, space, and everything else in between. And, oh yeah, winner of this year's Modesty Award. You're listening to You Suck. What's the difference with Al and Tom? Your one stop for this sort of thing.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to You Sucks. What's a different podcast? Oh, my own intro. Ruin that up. Fuck that shit. I'm Alex Whiteley, and usually I'm joined by Tom Bruno. Not today. We will be joined by Mr. Rabe in a second over in California there. I kind of got the time zone wrong. That's happened so many times. I was like, yeah, it's 3 o'clock. Don't worry, David. It's fine. Got plenty of time. And it wasn't. It was 1 o'clock. And in fact, our guest, Daniel Goodman, who's in California, well, that side of the continent anyway, explained to me, no, actually you've gotten 2 hours wrong. Joining us today is Daniel Goodman, and we're going to be talking a bit about money and investing money and how to understand that sort of shit. So thank you very much, Daniel, for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about the one universal thing that everyone wants and worries about: money.
It really baffles me. It really does when we talk about money and we talk about debt and we talk about bills and investments and things like this, because it's the one thing they kind of miss from the curriculum in schools, right? Like, how cool would it be, or how beneficial would it be to sit down with a child and talk about how to pay back debts in installments, or how to pay your bills, and how, that would really help people in life. Why don't they do that shit? It's crazy.
It's amazing. As you, excuse me, as you're bringing that up, you talk about, they start finance classes when, to me, from my memory, and not in high school, they start them in college. You're a major. That's way too late. I mean, that's way too late to learn about money. We're dealing with money. We're introduced to money. My daughter's 5.5 years old. She's got a piggy bank. It started with the swear jar. I said, fuck, shit. I say this. Oops, Daddy, you said the F word. And, I tell you, it helps me. There goes $1. Dollar. And, a little bit here and there for other things. But, and then, we're teaching her as much as we can while having fun, how the importance of money. And so there's this game called Roblox. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Roblox,
it's called
very fun.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it IPO'd not too long ago, and you have to keep spending money. You buy coins in the game, and I pay through my Apple account. And there's things that she might walk up to me and say $20. For a 5-year-old, $20. I mean, this is insanity. Anyways, so we're using that as, okay, well, then you got to do some chores. You have to work to get that. Or do you want to take out $3, $4, $5 from your piggy bank? It might sound harsh, but Jesus, I mean, I guess we're in an inflated time right now. I mean, $20 for some coins, that could be once a day, which I won't do. That's ridiculous. I mean, $100 a week on your 5-year-old for an imaginary thing that's kind of either that's stupid, or that's just, that's extremely spoiled. They should have a class. The school system should have a class, maybe starting at the age of 10, 11, 12, early, about money, about investing, something to do with it. It's, what do you think when you're in a math class? If a teacher says, well, if somebody has $10 and they spend $5, what do they have left? That has nothing to do with the importance of money.
Hey, Daniel.
So, how's it going?
Not too bad. Sorry for showing up late.
Not at all.
Actually, I shouldn't apologize, right, Alex?
I've already apologized. Don't you worry, David.
Good.
Joining the show now is David Rabe. And we were just talking about David, why classes or school, they don't teach money and how to sort of invest, or
they
how
do.
to handle
they
money
do teach you
in school.
Here in America, I learned by gambling
in high school.
Yeah, I gambled in high school.
Well, I played craps in high school. I used to. Yeah. But a teacher, having an actual class that they can teach you about the importance of money, and is I think would be great. I mean, having an option at least And maybe they do
It should.
schools, and yeah, they should. I mean, you shouldn't wait till you're 19 years old or 20 years old in college to learn about money. It's already that no,
I
because you're
agree.
spending a shit ton of money in high school, right? I mean, what do you mean?
Mhm.
We're spending it on, whether it's taking
Clothes,
your
books.
clothes, right? But going to the movies, buying shit. I mean, whatever it is, making money. I mean, you're working, you have jobs in high school. So I think if you have a job in high school, that's going to help. If you have an after school
Drug dealing
job.
can help. Yeah.
Drug dealing, yes, exactly. The weed game, the weed game was big when I was in high school, but
Yeah,
now
right?
it's over. Yeah, now it's over. And
Now it's
look,
over.
I grew up in LA. I grew up in Venice Beach. I'm an Angelino. I grew up in
Right.
Venice Beach. So yeah, the weed was everywhere. But that's, yeah, the early look, I talked to some of my friends that grew up completely differently than me. Stricter parents, maybe a little bit more organized or structured. I mean, my dad was very structured. My mom was very loose. But when it came to money, no. Now, my father taught me how to pay money back. He would, lend me. He would say, "Here's $5, and you need to pay me back." Now, maybe I was 11 or 12, and however I was going to get money, but he didn't give a shit if I was going to pay him back or not. But it was the point that was more of a, kind of a street code thing or paying people back thing. I mean, that's
He's
part
like,
of
I'll
money.
break your legs. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Right. I'm gonna knock you across the right. But it taught me right away the importance and the credibility of paying somebody back. And so
Right.
I started doing that with him. And sometimes if naturally I'd say, "Here's $5, Dad," or "Here," and he'd say, "Thank you, but here, keep it." It wasn't the point. It was, are you gonna pay back? And so that's big. I mean, what happens 20 years later when you want to buy a house, you got to pay the bank back. I mean, same thing, credit cards, all the same thing. Uh, you know, um, but we are, we're talking about. We're going to talk a little bit about what micro investing and investing a little bit here, Alex, or is that right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like what you were just talking about with David, well, brought David in about the Roblox, and
Oh,
these are little things. These are tiny little like expenses that all add up, right? Like you're saying, right? You wouldn't give your kid enough to buy X amount of coins or stars or what it is for the game every single day, because by the
right.
end of the week, by the end of the month, by the end of the year, you've spent X amount. But we
It's
all did that as
incredible,
kids,
yeah.
though. I mean, we talk about Roblox and like, oh my god, these are things that they spend and they go and they're gone, and we've just given all our money to Roblox, right? But we had match attacks and we had pogs and we had sticker collections and we
Pogs.
had the
Yeah,
Pokemon.
all that kind
Yeah.
of shit that you do and
Ninja
spend
Turtles.
and you,
Yep.
yeah.
I like Ninja Turtles. So what I started to, because I'm looking at my X bill, and I'm going, how much did I spend on a coin on a David? You know what Roblox is?
No, not
So
too.
Roblox is a company. There's thousands of. It's all the same, very low grade, 3D image structures. Nothing high
Video game.
quality. A video game. It's an
Okay.
app, and there's thousands that you can go
Whoa.
into. And essentially, there's no point of the game. They run around, they build things, but when you want to buy coins to buy things in the game, it costs real money. So my daughter walks
Like
up to me
Minecraft.
with her iPad.
Similar to Minecraft.
Minecraft, yes, exactly.
Okay.
But exactly. So same concept. What the hell's going on here? I mean, my Super Nintendo, we buy the game, we put it in. That was it. That was
Oh my god! I love how
Half
you
the
went. We
game.
put it in. I love that. We
That
put
was
it in.
it. My
The
daughter's walking
cartridge.
up to me.
That was it. Hold on. Hit the reset button.
With the CDs, you're wiping it off on your thing.
Yeah.
It's the PlayStation. So that was the only expense. It was a one-time expense, or however many games you bought. My daughter, if I had an endless bank account, she could come up to me 50 times a day and say, 1,000 more coins, 1,000 more coins. Give me, and I have to plug in my password. It's connected to my wallet. So, but what helped me justify it, though, was I would buy my daughter a lot of toys. Now, I might have spoiled. I think she's a little spoiled here, maybe a lot spoiled. But I was buying her toys. Now, the difference is I started justifying it a little bit more because the toys were piling up and piling up and piling up. Yeah. and she would play with him for a month and get old with it. Maybe 6 months if I'm lucky. So I can see that as she's growing out of these toys, so they're piling up, and we're gonna throw this away. No, that's my favorite. Yeah, it's your favorite. Bullshit. You play with it 3 times, you're done with it. So at least with this Roblox thing, right? At least with this Roblox thing, there's no toys piling up. There's nothing piling up. I'm not, I don't have 6 cartons of toys piling up here. So that's a plus. And then I do get to help her. She'll clean up her room more. She'll do something. Usually it's cleaning up her room. It could be doing a chore here. Help me put some dishes, something, because you just can't spend $20 a day.
You can't live here for free.
Bullshit.
You got to do something.
Yeah, right. You got to do something. I mean, I can't. My wife, and I are going, when's she going to be able to work? So, but when getting down to micro investing and what I think, which is we're going to talk about this universal thing about investing and money.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, is I guess the hardest part is to back up, my friends who kind of started, they had stock portfolios that are 20 years old. I'm thinking, what do you mean? When did you start investing? Well, I asked my mom and dad to open up an account for me and told them what stocks to buy, or we talked stock. They knew about that stuff. So their parents were involved already in that type of the money world and finance. Mm-hmm. So they were, I couldn't tell you, but now my job as a day trader and investor in real estate, I look back, I'm like, what the fuck? Why didn't I say to my mother, hey, buy some Apple stock when it crashed in 01?
Mom, buy me gold.
Buy me anything, any stock.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 30. I'll be 38 this year. So I was a senior in high school in 01 or junior senior. I didn't stock market. I mean, I'm trying to get laid. So it's the stock. I mean, a party and then just try to pass by. So but can you imagine if I was like a little bit more educated about that? Hey, Mom, I don't want anything for when I finish. I don't want take some money, take $10,000 and buy Apple when it's nothing, right. when it dumped 60-80%. And where is it now? Amazon trading at $5, $5 in the crash of the dot-com bubble. And now it's trading at, it's incredible at $3,400 a share, 35. So I didn't, and I was still out of it in my early 20s, about my mid 20s when the recession hit. I was,
mm-hmm.
I still didn't, not until about 8 years ago that I really get involved in this. And but so back to my point is, it's never too late, but the hardest part is to start.
Right.
It's hard to start, and somebody that doesn't make a lot of money is going, what am I going to do with $100? Like, what am I going to do with $100? I mean, what can I buy?
Question, isn't it? How can I make $10? 20, right?
What am I going to do? And
sell cocaine. The street value goes up.
No, David.
It's sell cocaine. The street value goes up.
Sell cocaine. My book that's coming out soon, I do talk about that. I say there are ways to make money that way. It's the risking of the freedom part. Selling cocaine. Hey, there's a market. It's an investment.
Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a good one. If right, but the hardest part is starting.
Yeah.
And even if you do have plenty of side money, side cash that you can invest, what do you invest in? And once again, with stocks and real estate, which are the two biggest money makers in the planet. I mean, right. The wealthiest people usually, or in oil, but in stocks and real estate, everyone's like, when do I get in? The market's too high. Or if the market's crashing, it's going to go lower. And so I remember talking to someone about buying real estate, and they're like, get in. Just right. Get in. Same with the stock market. Look, the market just corrected 6%. So, it's going to correct 20%. It's going to bullshit. You don't know that. It could. Sure, it's trading very high right now. I get it. Mm-hmm. But so I bought some property almost 4 years ago. I thought it was the height. I'm already up 30%. Can it crash? Yeah, can it crash?
It could.
Sure, but so what? Doesn't mean you have to sell it. So same with the stock market. And if you're in it for the long term, now look, granted, if you're above 70 years old, yeah, okay, be careful with your money. I mean, yeah, there is a point where you just don't throw it in. I mean,
Just call them up and be like, "What's your social security number?" Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's easy as that. That's how you make money quick.
That's how you make money quick. If you're over 70 years old, yes, be careful with some cash because I mean, I hope you live to 100, but you can't.
Unless you're trying to create a legacy, I guess.
Well, at that point, if you don't need money to live, like you have other things paying for your life, well then yeah, put it in for your grandchildren or whatever you want to do. Great.
Make sure grandma's always packing. Yeah,
that's right. So that's one thing to do is, look, if you're under 50, it doesn't get in because you always think it's not the right time. People are scared to invest in the stock market,
right?
But nobody that's created massive amount of wealth over time has not taken a risk. If you're in your 20s, you got to start investing. I mean, it's crazy. You got to. So with $100, you're sitting there, you got college debt and whatever you got, or no debt at all, but you're just making ends meet. You have $100. What do you do? $100 extra per month. Well, Apple's trading at 140 something. It closed at. I got to look, but in the 140s. That's one share. So the first thing is, what the hell am I going to do with one share? Well, buy it. And then the next month, buy another share. Then the next month, buy another share. The next thing you know, you have 12 shares. Okay? And if it goes down, buy more. If it goes down, buy more. Like even buy more than one share if you can afford it. Now you have to ask yourself, why do I keep bringing up Apple? Well, Apple splits on average every 6 years. So if you look at the average when they started splitting in 87, I believe was the first split, or 88, they split 6 times every 6 years. 2-to-1, 2-to-1. They did 3 2-to-1s, and then they did a 7-to-1 in 2014, and then they did a 4-to-1 in 2020 in September. So if you start now and you buy one share a year, a month, and then you have 12 shares times 5, that's 60 shares, and then it'll split 5 ways. Let's just say now you have 300 shares. Now we all know about the split. It splits. Your value stays the same until the stock climbs up again. Now, I guess you ask yourself, why Apple? Well, is Apple going out of business anytime soon? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so.
I kind of doubt it. If you're worried about that, buy an Apple, buy a Microsoft, buy a Facebook, buy something different. You don't have to buy tech, buy something else. Spread it out too. That's always good to get spread out because you never know what can happen. So spread it out. I mean,
How do you spot a future unicorn idea? One of those things that you got an idea that it could become the next Apple or the next, I don't know, like what's the next thing?
Yeah, well, you know what? In my opinion, do your due diligence by reading, what's out there. Read some Wall Street Journal, read some, different magazines, and you know what? What do we just say? Take a risk. Take a risk. I mean, find 10 stocks or companies that just IPO'd and research them a little bit if that's what you're into, and spread it out. So if you got $2,000 that you can play with, find 5 companies that could be the next unicorn, and buy it. And if one of them hits, right, you're going to be fine, and that's a risk. And but if you go back 10 years and you talk to somebody that says, I mean, what's the biggest unicorn right now? Bitcoin.
TikTok. Or Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah.
Oh,
TikTok.
Bitcoin. Oh, TikTok. Right. So in that case, who got on TikTok first? I mean, who got on there? Well, who's that woman who's got the young lady? Diamore, Charlie Diamore.
There's
Have you
Colmy
heard of her?
Karras as well, who's been on our network before. Colmy Karras, 35 million followers on TikTok.
This Charlie Diamore, he's got 125 million.
Wow.
125 million. She started
Unbelievable.
dancing. And I'm not a big TikTok. My wife knows all about it, but she started dancing and dancing to trendy songs. And now they have a show coming out, the Amore family. But
That's great.
yeah, right. She got in early.
Right.
That's it. Good luck getting in now. No way. It's too sad. Good luck.
Doors closed.
But as far as stocks, yeah.
Sorry.
Good.
I was having the same conversation about the Lonely Island with YouTube with my wife just yesterday. Watching the Lonely Island on YouTube, I was like, they were there from the beginning. They had Saturday Night Live, but they put those music videos on YouTube. Boff. There we go. That's Andy Samberg's career made. It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it started?
Saturday Night Live and the mixture of Lonely Island being on YouTube, I think, have absolutely helped it.
Okay.
Andy
Andy
Samberg. Money. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, he left SNL and started doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Movie.
That was his thing. That's right. That's been airing for at least 5 years, I think. At least.
Oh, yeah.
Not longer.
I think getting there early, and
yeah,
getting your presence on there early is very, very important.
A childhood friend of mine who's doing very, very well right now. I just had a lunch with him in New York, and he said he bought Bitcoin around 200 a coin, and it doesn't take much. You're right. I mean, if you buy 100 coin, what is that? 20 grand.
Yeah,
it's not a big, right? Okay, so 100 coin now, that's 6 million, right? No, yeah, that's $6 million.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So, or now it's trading in the 40,000 range, so maybe it's $4 million. So, so he was telling me that his friend had coffee with him in 2009, and when Bitcoin was about 20 cents. So, and he said, buy it. And he didn't, but his friend did. And I think he could have crossed the $1 billion mark at one point. I mean, at 10 cents. But look at some stocks. There's a lot of stocks out right now that are 10 cents. Are they going to go anywhere? No. Majority of them will not.
I've never been able to understand Bitcoin and the craze for it, because the way I see it is it's a currency, cryptocurrency.
Right.
But where, except Bitcoin, you can't pay for a Big Mac with a Bitcoin. You can't walk in and be like, I'll have a Bitcoin. Big Mac.
There's a lot of places taking Bitcoin.
Really?
A lot. Well, Tesla, you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin right now.
Okay, that kind of
makes
sense.
That makes sense. He's Mr. Elon Musk is Mr. Dogecoin.
Yeah.
You can do. I mean, look, it's interesting though about what it's Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger called it the ransom
money.
money, which it is. I mean, there's been these malware. What's the when you hack the ransomware attacks, and they're paying in Bitcoin. But look, I mean, listen, is it inflated? I mean, I think so. What's his name? Dr. Michael Burry. He's calling that a little inflated. He's short on a lot of things right now. But who knows? But the bottom line is, who cares? If you bought Bitcoin at 500 a coin before it skyrocketed in 2016, most people say the same thing, right? Like me. What the fuck is Bitcoin? I don't understand it. I'm not investing in it. But with all the hype that Bitcoin had, you don't need to understand it. And no one's telling you to sell your house and put your life savings into it. But, what's 100 coins at 500 a share, 50 grand? I mean, okay, if 50 grand is no big deal to you, get 10 coins at 500 a share, right? 5 grand, throw it out, throw it at it. And here's the key though. Don't look at it. My friend who owns, I don't know how much he's got. He wouldn't tell me actually. He's very nonchalant. He's very low key. He was like, I bought early, and he's like, how much did you buy? Did you buy a lot? He told me he doesn't care if it drops 80%. I mean, the guy could have 60 million in Bitcoin, 6 million. I don't know, whatever 40 million. I don't know. But the key is buy it or whatever it is you're buying. Don't look at it. That's the key. And that's where, the famous quotes from Warren Buffett come in. If you're not willing to buy, what do you say? If you're not willing to buy stock and hold on to it for 10 years, don't buy it to hold on to it for 10 minutes. That's very old school. That's Warren Buffett. But his theory was buy and hold, hold. And that's it. So for somebody starting out that's 20 years old, and who's watching and listening, if you're 20 years old, take $100 and invest it. Take $100 a month and invest.
I've got $100 in MySpace. I'm still waiting. Still waiting. Where are you, Tom? Come back to us, man.
But I think that's the scary part is people get scared, and you have to, I guess. Look, there was really good buying opportunity 18 months ago when the market came down 35%. 35% is a big drop. And that, in my opinion, we were due for a little correction. So I think that was the panic selling from the pandemic combined with a little correction. Maybe, we 15, 20%, an extra 15% because of the panic selling. The overall market drops any more than 20%, buy. Okay? If it drops 10%, buy. If it drops more, buy. Now, I'm not talking about, when I say that, big companies, Microsoft, Apple, the Googles, where's Google going? Who's going to kick Google out? Ask yourself that, right? Who's kicking Google out in the next 10 years?
MySpace.
Nobody's
Bezos would kick Google out. He'd be like, it's not enough. It's not enough for me.
Amazon, you know what? If anybody can do it, anybody can do it.
Yes.
And Amazon can have their own search engine. They really could. They might be working on it right now. Who knows?
I mean, it seems so. Every time you look up anything on Google, right away, it's like the top searches are for Amazon. It's like, I don't want to use Amazon, though. I just want to find something else. Like,
he's not worth $200 billion for nothing, right? I mean, he's not. Yeah. I mean, the guy. I think, in my opinion, Amazon, besides Apple and maybe Google, because tech is what it is as of right now, Amazon is the greatest company ever made. I think. I mean, the greatest, more than e-commerce. I mean, look. About 3 years ago, I had rental properties. I still do, and I was doing Airbnbs out of them. And I stopped doing that. It got too nuts. And I was ordering stuff for the rental property, and I was out of the country, and then ordering stuff to be delivered. It was Christmas Eve. Amazon was delivering this stuff on Christmas Eve, and I was like, "That's it for me. This is the best ever." I never ran into a company that delivered on Christmas Eve. I ordered it on Christmas Eve and they delivered it same day, or maybe it might have been the night before, but come on. I mean, they have it go. To me, I mean, I can find everything on Amazon. So, but look what they're doing. Soon they're gonna have their own bank. They're sending people to space. Look, I love Amazon. I use it all the time. So whatever. But I think you're right. I think Bezos could get in there. But they're not going anywhere. Who's gonna kick them out? So if those stocks drop, buy more. But in general, if you want a safe investment, invest in the S&P 500. It's pretty simple. Go look at the chart from where it started and do 100, do from beginning to now. There's only one trend, right? Up. It's going up. And everyone, there's different generations. So if we see a crash starting on Monday, and it's going down and going down. And I talked to people in the recession. I mean, a friend of mine, he sold a lot of his portfolio, I think, at the recession, took a hit, and I said, why? Why did you do that? He says, we thought it was going to keep going down. And like I said, around that time, I was early 20s. So I still was partying and having my fun. And I wasn't really into it then. It is what it is. But I said, why did you sell? Did you need the money? He says, no. I said, well, why did you? Well, I thought it'd go down lower. I said, well, did you think it was going to go to zero? Like this is, like zero is the apocalypse. Or maybe it wouldn't be zero. If somebody says the nuclear missile is heading towards America, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? The stock market's not even going to be open to trade, okay? I mean, everyone's going to be running in the streets, panicking, and there's going to be I don't know, right? I mean, well, I can tell you there will be an insane crash, but realistically, markets won't be open if there's crazy panic like that. But look,
Right.
let's take the pandemic, for example. Let's say it was 10 times worse than it was. Let's say it was a 12 Monkeys movie situation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Where there's 5 billion people die, right? I mean, right. I love that movie too. So if this virus, COVID-19, was so much worse, and like millions of people are dying, like it was like, holy shit, this could be the apocalypse.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're going to see the stock market go down all the way to almost, I'm sure gold would be spiking, and the stock market gold would be trading at 10,000 an ounce overnight. And, if it was that, there's going to be a lot of panic. But that wasn't it. But so if you're experienced and you've been through a recession, you got to ask yourself, or these panic sales, you got to ask yourself, is this the apocalypse? Is this the end of the world? And if it's not, buy a lot. And that's the answer. I mean, because it's just look what the fucking market did. It came down almost 40%, and 6 months later, it was almost breaking new highs because everyone realized, whoops, right? Whoops. Then the Fed started pumping in trillions of dollars of, it's almost like fake money.
It's
Printing. Let's print and print and print and print. Is there going to be a repercussion? Probably. I mean, but the bottom line is, and back to the Bitcoin, who gives a shit? It's hype. Look at Dogecoin, 0.005 a coin, and now it got to 70 cents. Fuck. You can buy 1 million coin at nothing. I mean, if there's hype, buy it. What's your point doing this? To make money. I mean, I mean, so you don't need to know too much about it. It doesn't take a genius to invest in the stock market. Just fucking give your money and add more. And what's the S&P doing? It's going to keep going up until the apocalypse. It won't stop going up. This is the world we live in. I mean,
When's
intense
the
about
point?
it, but it's gonna. Yeah.
When's the point though? When have you made enough though? Like say like Bezos is just going to continue making money. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to make
don't
a
be like
rocket.
Bezos. Yeah.
Like I'm going to make a rocket. I'm going to build a giant ship that's the size of fucking Ireland. I don't know, right? When's the point when you like actually no, this is all right now. This is fine because like. When it comes to investors and things, we see this archetypal kind of thing. You think of the movies, you think of fuck you, spraying money everywhere. The gold
Right.
watches and Miami Vice glass. That kind of thing.
Right.
Leonardo DiCaprio, right? You see that. When's the point when you cut it off? And you're like, actually, no, I'm just stopping now.
As far as if you're making that much money.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it seems like a very stressful situation. It seems like, you're constantly, like, gambling, really, with money, up and down. It's a career. You go all your life. But when you get to a point where you've made just enough, where's that point for you? Is it 1 million? Is it 5 million? 100 million? Where is that?
I mean, well, if you're Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, it's never enough, right? It's a zero-sum game, right? But when's it enough? That's everyone's different. What is that? I guess when's it enough? What does that mean? I mean, if you're making so much money per year, I mean, you don't have. I would say you can cut back and go into the office, but keep investing. Don't be silly with your money. I guess maybe spend a little bit more, right? It depends on the situation you're in. It depends. When is enough? I mean, I guess stop taking risks. If you've gotten to a certain amount of money that your net worth is if your net worth is $100 million, what do you do? I mean, I guess the question is, I guess the main goal is don't ever let the dollar sign be a factor of your happiness. That's
very true.
I mean,
yeah,
like don't ever let it be that. I mean, work hard. I mean, it also depends what you're surrounded with. If you grow up in a materialistic bullshit world, you're going to feel bad about yourself if you're only making a certain amount of money. Depending on your parenting, If you're in the middle of nowhere on a farm, it's not as pressured, I guess. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to make money, because you could have a certain skill to make money, or you can want to. I mean, when is enough enough? The answer
What
is
about you, David?
There's
When did you quit? Say you could start making money, and you can carry on making money. It's very stressful for you. I don't know. Maybe you're good at it or whatever. When's the point you cut off? When's enough for you?
I wouldn't know. If I had that kind of money, I'd be giving it away, because money doesn't really, I don't really care too much about it.
Well, that's a very good point. Give back. If you have that much money,
definitely invest in the community, invest in children's futures. That's what I would be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so, I mean, to me, my goal would be, to me, making money is when I get old. But my worst nightmare would be if I get old and I'm rich. If I die a rich man, I'm going to be upset. I want $0 in my fucking name when I die. I want to just give it all away.
I guess, if you have children, you give it to your children. If your children are irresponsible, no kids yet.
No kids, never. No.
Never.
Oh.
So then, if that's the case, or unless there's a favorite niece or nephew or somebody, if there's nobody in line, give it away.
Yeah.
First, go down and clean up Skid Row.
That's what I would like to do. Yeah.
I've had this conversation a few times, and I think for me, it would be to the point where I don't have to worry about bills. I just know it's going to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in debt. I'm like, okay, that's been paid. I own my house, I own my car, and my kid's got a future. So that's kind of where it is for me. Although,
right.
I don't really. I'm a simple guy. There's not so many things that I'm kind of like. Oh, I don't need a jet. I definitely don't need a jet. I don't need to drive a fucking McLaren F1. Do you know what I mean? I just like to get by comfortably and not have to worry about my bills. That's kind of when I've made it. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's right. And however, McLaren is fun to drive. In my opinion, when the money's there, and you have that option to say, "I'll take that McLaren. Let's give it. Why not?" Or I will lease this jet. I don't want to wait in line anymore. I can afford not to wait in line anymore. I don't have to sit and coach. I'm going to be a little bit more comfortable. Now, so that's the question is nobody needs it. So be comfortable. Well, there's an old saying, well, not an old saying, but a friend of mine says, be grateful for what you have or you'll never be grateful for what you get. And let me tell you,
true. Oh,
that hits me hard. And I have to say that sometimes, like, whoa. If I'm getting greedy about something, like, damn it, I didn't get that. I didn't buy this materialistic thing that's never going to do me any good. Or I didn't get to do this. Okay, but what do you have right now? What do you have? And everything is great because, hey, you don't know what can happen overnight. So as long as you stay in gratitude, it's okay. As long as you're not screaming at your kids because you didn't make enough money, as long as you're not being an asshole, or as long as you're right. Now, there's nothing wrong. There's just nothing wrong with buying a jet. And by the way, it depends. You might need it. Maybe you need a jet sometimes. Depends on your work, right? I mean, it depends on your work.
It would be pretty cool to be like, I'm off to see David in California tomorrow. See you there. Or,
have a cup of tea just right there on the runway.
As long as David said, as long as you give back. If you're not giving back, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think so.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. You better donate. Look, let me just say this. So in Los Angeles, Skid Row. Yeah. The most awful place. And that's just LA. There's many worse places. I'll bet if you took $10 million, if you have that kind of money, you can do a lot with that. I'm sure you'll figure it out. I mean, those people, you remember there's people that just, you're born where you're born, where the stars align. Some people were born that just with that opportunity. They didn't have any opportunity.
There's just a product of their environment. Yeah,
that's it.
Born into poverty, and that just creates more and more like crime and poverty. And so, if you invested money in cleaning and getting more resources and cleaning up the streets and shit, things would be a lot better. But people with that kind of money just choose not to do it. So I'm like, okay.
If you go to a homeless cabin and it's not a dangerous one. And I know there's a big one in Santa Cruz. I just went up to Santa Cruz to visit a friend of mine. I mean, if you're wealthy or you're rich, whatever you want to call it, and you just can't get it together to maybe start a big, philanthropic fund or whatever you're doing,
Mhm.
there's people that are hungry over there. It ain't that hard to go to McDonald's or the grocery store and spend $10,000. They'll take your money. Okay,
Yeah.
like you can go to a pizza place and spend $10,000 of pizzas, or that's a lot of pizza, but as much as they can make, and go and hire people to deliver. It happens all the time.
Right.
Okay, and go there and drop some pizza off.
Mhm.
Feed somebody.
I was chatting to a big shout out to Steph from Self Help Africa, who I was at a food festival last weekend, and they were raising money for Self Help Africa, and I was very amazed to speak to her actually, because I work with a lot of charities locally. It's kind of what I do, and the ethos behind them were like they weren't going to go and give unfortunate people, with money. They're not going to give them the money. They're going to give them the tools to be able to be self-sufficient, to learn
Yes.
how to make money. They're not going to be like, here's food and a house and go,
Right.
because then they'll
Well,
just spend all
But
that
they need
shit
a
and they'll be
starting
gone.
point.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Right.
I was like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. That would be cool if you put together like a little, camp or an indoor place with bunks and bring them in, and you
Mhm.
feed them. That's actually really great. And because
Mm.
I don't really give. If there's somebody that is homeless on the street, I will do what I can if I have time, and I do have time. And if I'm coming out of a store, can you spare some change? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Can I get you a meal?
Right.
I mean, right. I won't give them the money. I do know that most people, I think, depends. I mean, you can't, if you say to them, are you going to buy this on drugs or alcohol? Fuck you, man. It's like, well, yeah, okay. I mean, some people will say, I'd love a hamburger. Thank you. That'd be amazing.
Right.
Trust me, they're not eating very well. They're eating out of a trash can.
Yeah.
I mean, but imagine if that's actually a really good idea, Alex, and they do that, and right, because you can feed them all day. You can give them money that's not going to help them get out of where they're going to get, and
Yeah.
that's a great thing to do. That's a great start. And if you have plenty of money to donate, going back to micro investing, though, I think one thing though is, don't try your best not to blow your money on bullshit. And oh my God, I mean, I've spent so much money on bullshit in my 20s that
Pogs and
was not
stickers.
invested. Pogs and bars, nightclubs, recreational things
Yeah.
that if I just
Lady
would've taken
nightclubs.
cut that in half and throw that into just stay at home,
Right.
Yeah.
a couple extra nights and order in and chill and spend that money that you would have spent at the bar paying for, drinks that are marked up 50%.
Yeah.
Throw that into some stocks. Can you
You're gonna-
imagine? Right?
Oh, this
Wild
would be like
turkey.
what, a couple hundred $100 at a bar. This is
At least
$20 and stuff.
Yeah.
$20. Do
20
that
bucks.
route if you're going to do that. That's
Easy.
right. So take that extra $100 that you would have spent the wild turkey having 6, 7 of those at the bar. Take that and hey, listen. If you're not going to put in the stock, at least put it away.
Right.
At least.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if you need to spend money on something, Alex and I were talking before we started about the Rolex watch craze that is going on right now.
Okay.
And so let's say you need to spend money, you want to treat yourself and you just don't want to spend money in the stock market. So it's interesting. Like if you're making enough money, you buy yourself a Rolex. If they're going up, they've skyrocketed. You
Right.
can't walk into an authorized dealer that sells Rolexes right now and buy one off the shelf that's hard to get. That's valuable. So I'm wearing one right now. They call this the Sky Dweller. Okay, it's the most complicated Rolex as far as complications. It's got the date. It's got another time zone, and it's got a calendar, an annual calendar. It moves every month. Okay, so it's just okay. This is worth about 150% from what I bought it. So, in all honesty, this retails for about $15,000 or just under $15,000. I can sell it right now. I can sell it for 30 right now.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and there's a watch here. I actually had a couple that lay. There's one right here. That's the Submariner, and that's retail. That retails for $9,500, and it's selling for $20,000 on the secondary market.
Whoa! I mean, do these things have like a wire that shoots out like a grappling hook to get you out of certain situations?
Would think so. You would think you can
With
go
that
give me a
price?
massage right now. Where's my masseuse? Right.
Something.
How come it's not doing something sexual to me? I mean,
It's like, whoa, my sweet spot.
So I guess the point was that, but that's the same thing as if you want to buy clothing, never going to go up in value unless you're buying a
Leather goods.
leather goods, a Birkin bag. That's different. But you go out and buy yourself spend money on clothing. You just got a bonus at work. You go to a nightclub and you go and buy yourself some clothing and you buy yourself some, I don't know what, but what is it? Clothing, nightclubs, bottles,
Guns, ammo, bourbon.
Guns and ammo.
Yeah.
So you got to buy a certain gun. Hey, there's something that
I think you should. I'm always been a big advocate for the Second Amendment. I think everybody should be protecting themselves.
But I think a lot of people in the 20s are pissing money away.
Mm-hmm. I did for sure.
I'm not criticizing. There's a lot of times in my 20s, I'm like, why am I always fucking broke? Why am I always broke? Well, you know goddamn well why you're broke. Stay out of the bar.
Oh yeah.
Is that? It's on my lapel. I better,
You're like, whoa.
Yeah,
get to my mustache.
That's right.
I mean, like we were talking about Self-Help Africa just now, but like, can we use that as an analogy to say, like, instead of like, I don't know, an investor like you, say you've got millions of pounds, Daniel, right? And you're like, here, have £100,000 on me, right? That's not going to do fuck all for someone. They're going to go and buy a Ferrari with it, or if they can, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to go and splash that. But if you were to go, here is a $2,000 worth of tuition on how to make $100,000, that goes on to do more, right? And do you think the world kind of needs more of that? And I know you can go to university or you can learn about this, but to offer someone the skills that they need to go and invest or to go and make it,
I think it's fabulous. Yeah, I think it's fantastic, because imagine if you took 1,000 people and you had enough money to do that. Wow, I'll take 100 people and put them in a place and give them food that are homeless and teach them something. But that's a very generous of you to do that, to give somebody, then at the end of the day.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily grab people off the streets. But I mean, like, just like an average Joe like me, like, just in general, just kind of like, yo, David, a bit like Jonah Hill from what's that? Wolf of Wall Street. You know, he's kind of like, I want to do what you do, man. I want to do what you do. I want to do what you do.
Get high on Quaaludes? Yeah.
But Jonah Hill, though, if you remember the scene, which I love it, he was like, why is DiCaprio driving this fancy car? Or Jordan Belfort, He's like, I don't get it. I remember, how much did you make? So he was interested. And he took that initiative. By the way, some of the best thing you can do is quit your job if you're in a dead-end job.
Yeah.
A couple jobs I didn't, but most of them I was like, I'm out of here. And you're like, and then you go to another dead-end job, but keep quitting until you find something. I found day trading, and I realized I didn't have a boss. The only person you got to answer to is the same person we all do, the IRS. I mean, you're trading through a broker, but you don't answer to the broker. You're paying them. That's fine. Every trade or whatever the deal you have with them, but it's complete financial freedom. But I figured things out. It took me a while until I said, okay, this is working. This is working. I lost a lot of my own personal money, and I could trade. It depends how the stocks are moving, but if I could trade for 15 minutes a day and make money, make something, close my laptop and be done. I can have a 1 hour work week if I wanted to, or less.
Amazing.
For the whole week.
Is it as dog eat dog as they make it look in the movies? Is it really hard to? What's the community like?
There is no real community. I mean, the community these days is, well, you have to go and dig for a good community. But you got Wall Street Bets. I mean, that's wild stuff with the AMCs and the GameStops and the great. Get into it if you can. Get in when they're talking about it before it screws up. The communities, I mean, you got stock twits. That's a little bit better. People actually talking about real investing, but you don't have to watch any of that. You don't have to be involved in any of that shit. Just trade. It's a job. If you look at it as a job, and get up, what stocks are moving, what's going on, and what you're doing. The whole key, what you have to realize is you are a spoke on a wheel. You're as they say, you're a small fish and you're a teeny tiny fish. You're riding off the hedge fund momentum and the big investor momentum. You're right.
Yeah.
So if the hedge fund is buying something and they're buying millions of shares, you're riding off these big firms. You're nothing. If you're playing with 25 grand, 30 grand, what are you buying 1,000 shares? If there's 100 million shares traded in the day, it's nothing. But you can be there one day, right?
Yeah.
You can be there
As
one
long as it
day.
helps you advance. If you can turn that $10 into $20,
Mhm.
that's fine, right? And like,
That's right.
say someone wanted to start, tomorrow. Say somebody was like, "Oh, okay, fine, I want to do this." How much do you think they should build up a kitty of?
So
to
the
start?
the very first thing that somebody wants to do is start open up a brokerage account. I use TD Ameritrade. Have the whole time. I've never used anybody else.
Mhm.
And you open up an account. And I don't even know if you need to put any money in, because what you want to do is you want to start trading with simulated money. So they'll give you $200,000 of fake money.
So like a
And you need
tutorial.
to, yeah. Well, no, you ask them. You open up the Thinkorswim app, or you open up the Thinkorswim software. It's called Think or Swim, and it's
Right.
connected with TD Ameritrade. That's the trading platform, and you get them to give you the fake money. Get them to give you. They give you 200,000 of fake money. Okay, and you just have to mess around with it. Do that for a little bit, because I didn't, and I lost a lot of money, and there was no need for it. I dove right in with real money. So do that and jump in and get a feel of what the hell is going. People come to me, they're like, "This is Greek." I'm like, "Of course it is. You don't know what you're doing if you're looking at option trading." Then, as you're doing this, though, that just gives you a feel of the platform, of the structure. But then you got to jump into real money and remember, it's a different emotion. You're not going to be able to have the same emotion with fake money. No way. It's impossible almost. So that's what you want to start doing. Get in there with fake money. And then, so you know what the hell's going on. Then put in $1,000 and really put in whatever you can afford to lose, because you don't know what's going on. Put in whatever you can afford to lose. Buy a share of something and watch it go, "Hey, wow, I bought something. This imaginary line went up. I made money. I shorted something. This imaginary line went down. Get a feel for it." That's it. And remember, the amount of money, this is very important. The amount of money that you make is irrelevant. It's the percentage what's relevant. Somebody that can afford to lose $100,000, well, we know how much money they have in their bank account. Somebody that can afford to lose 1,000, well, you know how much money they have, less than the other person. It's percentage. Try to make a percentage. Try to make 3 to 5% a day, or 3%, or try to make 10% or 5% in a week. Give yourself a percentage. I mean, look, if you're trading with $1 million account, and that person can day trade and make 1% a day, that's $10,000 a day. Okay. Now, mainly you need $25,000 to be able to have unlimited trades. You can buy and sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, unlimited amount of times, 25,000 or more. It's the federal rule. With good brokers, TD, E-Trade, Scott Trade, all those good brokers out there. Even Robinhood, you need 25K or more. If not, then you have to buy the stock or the option and hold it to the next day before you sell it. That's called a swing trade. So regardless, if you got 25 grand, if you want to make what is that? What's 1%? $250, right? Great, that's fabulous. Try to make 1%. Try to make $250. If you're a newcomer,
it's not bad return, is it? How much did you earn today? I don't know, $50 minimum wage. What did you earn? $250 in one day. Oh, really?
$250. And by the way, it's not going to take you a day. Once you get used to it, $250, it's one trade. It can be one 5-minute candle. That's it. Not even. I mean, so you could. The point of day.
It's making me feel excited. I'm getting a bit turned on, if I'm honest.
You should be. You should have an erection right now.
It's Robin.
But keep in mind, as we all know, you can lose twice that just as fast.
Yeah, that's the dangerous thing, isn't it?
That's the thing. And the two takeaways for day trading are: if you don't stop once you've hit your goal, now you're gambling. If you don't stop once you've hit your lost goal, you're gambling. You have to close the laptop.
Should people invest in gold considering the dollar is not backed by anything?
I mean, if that's what you're confident in, then absolutely. What's the trading at right now, gold? I don't have my phone on.
Yeah,
1,600 an ounce, 17s?
Shit, 16? I think it was like
probably
17.
Lower. The dollar's been rising, so it's probably a little bit lower.
Well, yeah, because they just pumped out more money, so it's caused that inflation. So it's like shit.
If they fluctuate it right, if the Fed fluctuates it right, it might not be such a bad crash. But boy, I tell you, there's a lot going on right now. There's people.
I mean, even if there was a crash, you would still have your wealth. Your money would still hold its value. Because you would have gold, you would have a physical substance in your hands. Be like, look, this is how many pounds of money I have.
Gold, right. Yeah,
right, okay,
I actually. So, what do you got there?
I don't understand this shit. See, so what have we got here?
Interesting. You got $17.50 an ounce for gold. Yeah, is that really? I thought it would be less. Has it gone? It must have. It pumped up a little bit when the dollar took a dip. Oil's at 73 a barrel. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's regular oil. Coffee, okay. Yeah.
Coffee's up.
So oil's been going up. Oil needs to come down a little bit. But it might actually get a little higher before it pulls back.
In the UK at the moment, I'm not going to say we're having a fuel crisis. I'm not going to be one of those guys. But what somebody's done is BP have gone, we haven't got enough drivers to fill up our gas stations, right? So we're struggling for a driver shortage. So everybody's gone, oh my God, there's a fuel shortage. Now the queues to the gas stations around the corner, they're empty in gas stations. People can't fill up the cars. Ambulances are sat there empty on forecourts.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
Right now?
Across the whole country, right? And obviously the BBC are stood there going, and we're still on the forecourt as it's absolutely rammed and everybody's panicking. It's just
like that happened here in the 70s under Carter, I think, right?
The oil in
Florida not long ago.
Yeah.
Like 2 months ago, I think it was in Florida. They had the same thing. People filling up jerry cans and shit,
Oh, yeah, the garbage bags and shit. I was like, what are you doing?
And by the way, the oil embargo was in the mid 70s. That was the last major crash before the tube.coms and the recession. And just to kind of throw this out there, when we talk about long-term investing, 1975 is when it bottomed, I believe, 74, 75.
74, 75, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it started in 73 and bottomed in mid 74. That was the first crash of 50% or greater since the Great Depression. Or there could have been another 50% crash, I believe, in the 30s. In the 30s, as you had 29 crash, it came up, and then it crashed even though. Okay, so since that bottom, so that's 40 years, right? Okay.
Right.
The next crash was 01. I'm talking about 50% or more. 01 to 03. Well, that's 25, 26 years. Bull markets last a long time. They obviously, or else the S&P wouldn't be trading at the Dow Jones wouldn't be trading above 30,000. So that's another thing to remember. When there's a crash, buy. I mean, look, I know a lot of people that look, if you can, I mean, the key is to have liquid cash at a time like that. So saving is okay in your account to be ready for something like this, but you got to step up to the plate. But I knew people that borrowed off their homes when there was a crash like this. They took $500,000, they took $250,000, and they threw it in the market. Trust me, you're going to make a lot better return than you are. I mean, if you're buying it so low, 3 years later, it's going to be you're going to make a killing if you get that opportunity to buy it 50, 60% off the top. It's just the way it is. And they made a killing, yeah.
Daniel, I've loved talking to you because this is like
This
a
has been
completely
great.
alien world to me because I don't,
Yeah.
obviously I'm not a day trader and I've, to be honest with you, they start talking figures. I mean, when they have to break it down into the basics, like the basics at the
Right.
Big Short, they
Right.
kind of having to explain what these
Right.
things are. I even then I'm kind of like, okay, I'm gonna have to Google this shit, right? 'Cause I'm terrible. So speaking to you about this is absolutely an eye opener. And like when you're talking about the idea that you could make or lose money, the emotions. I'm a bit of an empath, right? I feel about things, and I'm like I'm getting excited and I'm getting like worried and I'm getting like, oh my god, what is it like for you day to day, knowing that you could fuck up or you could win big? Like, is it
That was the beginning, and it was very intense. And right here and here, I have gray hairs. I don't know if you can see them.
Daniel, don't even worry about that, man.
Don't
Look at
even
this.
worry about it.
Yeah, it
But
happens.
you're rocking them though. You're I love it. You're no. So I got stressed. I went in too deep. I did. I went in too deep with the money, but I stuck through it. I was able to stick through it. Look, I borrowed from banks. I borrowed from credit cards. I had personal loans. People would say that I was gambling, and maybe I was in the beginning, but I was like, no, this can be done. You just got to get disciplined. And look, I've made some crazy money from one day to the next. I've had $100,000 loss overnight, and I've had more than $100,000 gain overnight. And you're like, whoa, but the key to day trading is to not lose. Like, don't lose, to be defensive.
If I saw 100 grand in my bank overnight, or gain or whatever, I'd be like, right, fuck it, I'm done. Like, that's it. I'm making my money.
But what are you going to do with the money?
Well, this is the thing.
Sure.
I'd probably take 100 grand out and then put 10 grand back in. I don't know. This is the thing. I would probably.
I guess that's what that's what I do in Vegas when you gamble. I love the roulette tables, the roulette wheel. So that's my thing. So like I'll put in this much. If I come up, I'm like, okay, I want to pocket this, keep gambling this, and if I come up with more, and then I'll stop at a certain point. I'm like, look, I've already gambled or invested. I got a little bit more than what I put in, so I'm gonna just call it what it is and walk away. Keep drinking somewhere else.
Right, that's right. Yeah, you'll be okay if you can handle that. I mean, look, that's why they serve you drinks for free in Vegas.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, here you go.
Yeah. So
because at one point you're gonna be like, fuck it, all in.
And there's gonna be a guy right there in the bullpen, be like, "Oh, you sure about that? Okay."
Yeah.
Market.
Yeah.
Market.
Yeah. Look, it's listen. With responsibility comes risk. Meaning, as far as if you can get up in the morning, which I do every day, about 5 a.m, and the market opens at 6:30. Sometimes you can trade pre-market, but if you can make a lot of money, remember the percentage of amount of money or whatever you need. If you can figure out a way to day trade professionally, you can make, and not be greedy. You can make a lot of money in a short amount of time. That's the point. And to do that, it's risky and it's stressful, but once you become good at it, it's not as stressful. It's not as risky. And it's incredible.
To it, right?
You become accustomed to it, but everybody gets greedy. I've gotten greedy so many times. I still am sometimes.
What about, and I know we're running short on time. I'm really sorry to throw one more question at you.
It's been amazing.
What about complacency? Is complacency like a drug? Is it like, oh my God, I've done so good. I'm really good at this shit, honestly. And then bam. Yeah.
Well, cockiness.
Yeah.
You got to wake up every morning and pretend you're going to lose it all. Wake up every morning and say, you got to be careful. You just got to be careful. And it's okay to be risky if you've had, we all know this, right? If you've had a great month, take a risk, right? If you had a great month, if you're not making money, tighten up. And, that's it. Yeah, be smart.
Well, Daniel, honest, David, have you got any more questions before we start rounding this up? Have you got anything you want to know?
Just one. So how would someone go about, like starting up their portfolio? How would you have a well-rounded portfolio in the stock market?
If you don't want to talk to a financial advisor,
Right.
if you don't want to talk to a stockbroker at a bank, if you want to do this on your own and say, no, I'm doing this on my own, just go with the big names. Go with the big names that you know of and cover all sectors. Cover all sectors. I mean, you don't have to. If you would have bought FANG a long time ago, we don't need any other sectors. You bought, do you know what? I'm sorry, FANG. For anybody that doesn't know, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google.
Oh, okay.
So FANG, and you can throw Microsoft in there, but FANG M or whatever they say. No, but that controls. FANG moves 25% of the whole market, and that's what 5 stocks. Yeah.
Believable.
So, they're $1 trillion companies. So you know what? If you want to buy 10 stocks, say whatever money you're willing to invest. Say I'm going to buy 10 stocks. Buy FANG. Buy an equal amount of money for each stock. Buy your Facebook. Buy FANG. And get to another sector. Throw some money in some bank stocks. Right? Buy JP Morgan Chase. Throw some money at, Caterpillar. Cover the sectors. So cover the sectors. Right. The financial sectors, cover the tech sectors, cover this. Go look up. It's very easy. What are the sectors of the stock market? And just cover it. Telecommunications. I mean, just cover it. And that's it. And follow the companies, watch the earnings reports, and have fun with it. And don't sell. If something crashes, don't sell. Wait and pause and go, why is this crashing? What's going on here? There's a reason there's something called panic selling, right? Bad news comes out, bad quarterly report, boom, it comes down. Relax. Easy. You don't have to sell. And if it's just a panic sell, buy more. That's it. Buy more. Apple's been around. When did Apple get big? In the 80s, it started. But really, when did it get really big? Late 80s is when they had their computers, right? So what is that? They're a company for 30 years, right? 30, that's it. If you stand back only 30 years, that's it.
But look how far they've come and look how big of a name brand they are.
Every day, my iPad it's an iPad. AirPods. My Apple Watch. What are they? You can talk to it. It's Dick fucking Tracy. This is Dick Tracy. If you've seen the movie. So, does this company have 50 more years of life? Bet your ass they do. I mean, look how new Amazon is. I mean, but that's a little different. There could be someone that's trying to push them out, but boy, I don't know. I'd bet that Amazon's going to be okay. I mean, but it's only been 30 years. You take a company like General Electric, okay, it's different. They had their boom. I don't know what's going on with them, or General Motors. I mean, these car companies have been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, even Jeff Bezos has said, we're running out of time. Even Jeff Bezos said, we are not, we can be too big to fail. It's possible. We can fail.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I don't see Apple, Facebook, Google. It's going to be around a little bit longer. So jump in all sectors, spread it out. That's what I can say.
Got it.
Well, Daniel, you have been amazing. So thank you so much for coming and speaking to us and letting us take a step into your world. That's what this show is all about. Absolutely. And thank you to the guys at TV Guestbert for organizing this as well. Where can people find you if they wanted to ask you for advice or if you would welcome that at all?
Right now, LinkedIn. So look at my LinkedIn account. Under Daniel Goodman, a stock trader, stock investor, and you'll find me. Yeah, and shoot me a message, anything like that. Yeah, absolutely.
And is there anything you'd like to tell people about or promote, or is there any businesses or anything that you will attach to that you would like to tell people about? Or
Yeah, we can talk about, if people are looking for good brokers to sign up to. TD Ameritrade's a great broker. And my book will be coming out soon. I'll post that on LinkedIn, and it's been in the works. I'm excited about that. But as far as that's it. I think we covered a lot of good ground.
when it comes out, we'll get you back on the show. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I would love to
Looking
do that.
forward to that.
That'd be amazing. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, David.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Thank you so much for coming on. What we're going to do now is we're going to step into the later lounge. We're going to have a bit of a geek out, probably about Rick and Morty or some shit. So we'll let you get on with your day. But thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Goodman, thank you so much.
We really appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, and good luck to you.
Have a great day.
Everything,
Have a
man.
great day. If you press the leave studio button, you'll leave us. But thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Should we step into the later lounge?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do this. What we usually do is we go taxi. Look at that. Both.
Here we go.
Well, we'll be quick because I know I've fucked your fucking dinner up, haven't I?
It's actually breakfast, but no, it's not a big deal anymore because I already started drinking. So now I'm just going to keep drinking until I actually get hungry again, and then I'll eat breakfast.
Fuck, man. It's time zones, man. I'm so bad at it. I really am. It's making
Tom
me
says,
think.
hey, be ready, 1 p.m. your time. You got it. I get back to you, 1 p.m. my time. You're like, no, it's actually 3. I'm like, oh, cool. I have time to sit back, relax, have a fucking, like get to work out, have breakfast, maybe shower.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
I'm like, fuck, no, I was wrong.
We're on now. I'm like, huh?
You know what it is, right? I've been like scheduling all the stuff in for Pod Aid, and I've been working with UK time, Eastern time, Central time, and Pacific time. Like, what the fuck, America, get your shit together.
We're so big, man. And sorry, you only got one time zone, but we got so big of a country.
Like, who have we got on our timeline? Is it Lisbon? That's it. Like, Paris is +1. So yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Paris is +1, which is very odd.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Yeah. You guys are -7. -7. -8.
Oh.
But hey, how you been, man? Been good?
Not too bad, man. You?
Yeah.
I'm really glad I got to fit in this shirt again, dude. I'm really happy. I bought this shirt like years ago, and I got fat, and now I can fit in it.
Isn't it a great feeling? It is the best feeling.
You know who that is?
I am a human being. The Elephant Man?
Yes. John Merrick.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm really happy. Love this shirt.
Good for you, man. Good for you. It is a great feeling. I mean, it's in the wash now. My washing basket there. Guys, this is how much
the dirty pile.
The dirty washing basket. But no, I've got a Batman t-shirt with a Batman it looks like a bat suit. It's amazing, right? But for when I first started doing Thorskin back in the day, I have a glass thing that my screen sits on. It's on here. I'd invite people around. Shane would come around and we'd do it in person, right? And I would use this t-shirt as almost like a tablecloth over my glass shelf because it wouldn't fit me. And for ages, this t-shirt that I absolutely adored was just a black tablecloth that I kept in my drawer sometimes, never wore it. Fits me now, man. I love it. It's the best feeling ever, isn't it? It really is. So well done. I appreciate that on a massive level. So as this show is going out, we would have done podcast last week. So thank you, David, for joining us for Pod Aid, and thank you, the listeners, for tuning in and what have you.
Of course.
It's weird doing it like this, isn't it? But we were talking about on the last show about USUK, the future of USUK. I think after sort of October, we're going to take a bit of a hiatus, a bit of a break, just to think about things, because obviously USUK isn't what it was. Tom and Jamie have gone done their own thing with our blessing, of course. We love them to bits. Chronicle, make sure you listen to the Chronicles of podcast.
We love you guys.
We do. We love them. So looking at USUK as a network was kind of like, maybe we should do things differently. All right. So we're thinking of maybe we should just have USUK. No other shows. No what's the difference. None of that stuff. just USUK. And we were thinking, what we do with a live show, and we're thinking, well, instead of having What's the Difference, let's just have USUK as a live show, invite a guest, do an hour and a half like we do, use the later lounge, and just have it as one show. What do you think? What do you reckon?
I like that idea because it would, like today, for example, I had to sort of fill in for Tom, and then we got the time zone confused. At least if we had one show, it's just like, here's the time, be here, got it, done.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
And even if we only have like 6 or 7 people watching every week, we take the audio, we release it, and it's exactly the same as What's the Difference, except we're live and we can have questions from the. I think it's an amazing idea. So this is what we're going to be doing, guys. So in about 4 weeks' time, as we're doing this, we're going to take a good 1 or 2 month break. Spend some time with our families, think about it, because we were talking to Jenny Black, and we were talking about dopamine fasts, like so having a 24-hour dopamine fast. So that's no books, no social media, no TV, no music, just chill. Just be around your house, no books, no nothing that makes you feel good. No music. No music. No, I know it sounds really crazy, but like apparently that's why people go on these retreats where there's nothing and they can't talk or anything. Like I'm not saying that's what Jenny's
supposed to do with that shit.
I know it's crazy. It's like a complete mental reset. So what happens then by the end of that is you've obviously gone a bit mental. You're a bit bored. It's terrible, difficult. But apparently, you start to feel more sort of joy out of things. Appreciating what you actually enjoy rather than the social media we shove in their face or the soaps that you may watch or, we all have a music playlist on Spotify or something like that. What kind of half the garbage on there you probably don't even like? It's just been part of your life for so long. If you do like a dopamine break and you completely like get rid of everything, you might be like, actually, I really want to hear this instead of the shit.
I make my own playlists on YouTube. So I don't let anybody else choose what I listen to.
Yeah.
They highly recommend it. I'll be like, maybe I'll check it out. Maybe I won't.
I did that. I had I used Google Play Music when it switched to YouTube Music, right? But there used to be an option, include random tracks in with my playlists, right? And I switched that off. Fuck off! It's my playlist, right? Don't piss with my playlist.
Don't touch it.
Absolutely not. But that music got kind of stale for me. It was kind of like I'm listening to the same stuff I've been listening to since I finished college. Blink 182, Stain, fucking Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers. The same shit I listen to all the time. And I was kind of like, I need some new music. So I did. And it was that Rick and Morty episode. We bought on shuffle. We may hear some stuff we don't like, but we may hear a couple things we do. Rick and Morty influences much.
Just go with the flow.
And so I did that, and it's introduced me to some shit obviously I don't like, but some things I'll be like, oh, what's that? Find the new band, follow, subscribe, download an album. Right. I don't know. And it's introduced me to Highly Suspect. It's introduced me to Bad Flower. It's introduced me to Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. It's introduced me to so many amazing bands now that I do listen to daily. I do recommend that to people. I don't know. I'm just ranting and going on.
I mean, what I usually do, because obviously I love watching movies, and especially well, for example, a Tarantino movie, his soundtrack that he has for that. Go, basically maybe the whole soundtrack, maybe with the exception of a couple. But then I'll look up that band in particular and go throughout their whole, all their albums, all their songs, be like, holy shit. And then from there, it just kind of stems off. Like, oh, while I was looking up this band, I came across this other one. It's like, holy fuck, where has this other band been?
Yeah. I feel like as a fan of rock music or alternative music, even indie music, I feel like that's kind of what we have to do now. Because we don't have, there's no rock music or alternative music on the radio anymore as there used to be.
Not really.
So we have to go and look
it's all
for
mainstream. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to do that, which is why I have my music on random now, because, and I'll very I'll be like, fuck you. If it plays something I absolutely know I don't like and it's a sound I'm not used to hearing, I'll be like, fuck you. But what that does, though, is it polarizes us all, doesn't it? You've got people that be listening to hip hop and they'll be like, well, no, fuck that rock shit. So even more so, you've got people now on either side of the fucking, whereas I like a bit of hip hop. I love it when a bit of random NWA or something will come on, like Nas or something. I'm like, fuck yes, well done, phone. Absolutely. Oh man. So on the last Wednesday Night Live as we were recording this, we were talking about the Many Saints of Newark, and about you and Ryan possibly watching Sopranos together and seeing if you can link up and watch episodes. Is that something you'd genuinely be up for?
I do. I've been kind of putting off Sopranos because I love mafia history.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely between the 1920s up into the 1960s and 70s is when I was like, a bit more
So
familiar
you're
with.
like 1999. Fuck off.
Yeah, basically, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like it's right around when it got to Sopranos. It's when it's kind of like, yeah, I didn't really know. I think at the time we tried to rent one of the seasons. Way back then when it first came out, like was rent one of the seasons. Yeah, it was from Blockbuster actually, and we try to watch
Fuck
it.
you, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's still here. No. I remember watching it. I think I was a bit too young to I guess maybe to understand, or maybe I wasn't too interested in it. But I got to give it another shot for sure.
Yeah,
But,
I think it's definitely worth it. I mean, it was a show I watched when the last sort of 2 episodes ever aired. They made a big thing out of it over here in the UK. It was massive, and
it's
so
a big thing over here too. Yeah,
they really, really sold that. And it was on Channel 4. They used to put on Channel 4 here in the UK, which is we only had channels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 if you didn't have Sky or cable. So anyway, they put on Channel 4, and I watched it. So the first episode I ever watched of The Sopranos was the last episode, which is weird, right? So anyway, skip back to earlier last year, and I started watching Sopranos. Seasons 1 to 3, and I was kind of like, this is getting very samey. Fuck this shit, and I stopped watching it. And Tom went absolutely nuts at me. He's like, no, keep watching. It changes and stuff. And I was like, okay.
Right.
So my advice to you would be just keep going. Just finish the whole fucking thing because it is. That's funny
that you watched the last episode first. Because for me, what I do when I get a new book, I'll go all the way back to the very last paragraph or the last sentence, and I'll read that. Yeah. I don't know why I do that, but I just do that. And as I'm reading the book for the first time, I'm like kind of thinking like, okay, just remember what the last paragraph or last sentence said. Like, how is this all going to lead up to that kind of thing? I don't know. That's something weird or dumb I do.
It actually, do you know what? It really fits in with a dilemma I've got at the moment with Sharp, because I loved reading Sharp when I was younger. I read all the books. There's like 22 in the series.
Sharp?
Sharp, like the TV series. So it was played by Sean Bean. They did a TV series of it, but it was originally it came from a book series of books by Bernard Cornwell, and it's about a soldier from the Napoleonic Wars, and he went from being a private up to being an officer and doing these amazing. He like captured they made like loads of false things that are kind of believable, like the French used to carry like an eagle. Right. Standard. They didn't, but they did in the books. And Sharp captured an eagle by, defeating a battalion of them with his company. And these amazing feats that Sharp had, all these adventures, and they stopped. They were like, okay, we'll stop now. That's it. I think they did Sharp's Devil, and it was when he was like older and not quite with it anymore. Sharp's Waterloo is one of the best books I've ever read. And in fact, if you're not into reading and you really want a good series of books to read, pick up Sharp's Tiger and start reading, and you won't want to put it down. But anyway, they went on hiatus. Bernard Cornwell did. He started making the Viking books, the Last Kingdom. I think they made a TV series of it on Netflix. And we had no more Sharp. He is about to release a brand new Sharp book next week. And my dilemma is, do I have to go back and read one of the, I don't know where it fits in with a series of books. What do I do? So I'm going to have to just grab it and just read it and see how I feel about it, because it might spark something in me.
Well, for me, like the way you're speaking about a series of books, I would have already collected them. Like I just had, like, this is book 1, this is book 2. I would have had that ready.
I had them all, but I had to get rid of them because of they were just taking up too much space. There's 22 books.
See? Yeah, 22 books. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, I would have definitely kept that. I mean, if anything, like Cliff Notes, I guess, or watch YouTube videos of other people talking about it, perhaps, to kind of refresh your memory. I don't know.
Read it, enjoy it.
Oh, actually, I just purchased the thing that I've been wanting for years, but before I didn't really have as much money, but now that I do, and now that I do have much like the kind of money to afford it, like it wasn't available as it was when it first came out. It's the 35th anniversary box set of Akira, the manga and hardcover. Akira
Wow.
is the anime that I told you to watch. I know you don't like anime, but I told you to watch the Akira movie, just the movie, just to see what your opinion is on that.
Akira. Okay.
Akira. It's 1988, and this movie was this really made the fucking standard for anime. Like it was filmed in 24 frames per second, which is where you do a live action movie, so the movements are a bit more fluid and natural, like you would see a human do. There's a huge like thing about like how they had to create like 300 different colors specifically for the movie because of all the it's amazing, dude. It's a really fucking phenomenal film. It was really way before its time, and it set the standard for
was it
all
manga
the
instead of anime, or was it anime?
Manga is the book version, like the comic book version of
Okay.
Akira, yeah.
Okay.
But the movie, they made the movie during the series run of the manga.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think from my understanding, the movie is a bit different from what happens in the manga. Although the manga, it goes into a bit more detail of their universe that they have built. So I'm looking forward to checking that out.
I mean, I do want to try. I think the last anime or manga or anime I tried was Castlevania, TV series on Netflix.
Good. Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't fucking. All these silly sound effects. I'm just like, we don't speak like, nobody speaks like that. They don't even speak like, so fuck off. Don't try and tell me that they sit there and they go, because they don't.
So the Akira movie, the version that I'm used to watching is the English dub. So it's American voices overdubbing, so no subtitles basically. That's what they call it, the dub version, where it's English overdubbing the original sounds or whatever. And that one's really good. I like it. I also do enjoy watching certain things in subtitles. One of the things I really like, another actual anime TV series is Fist of the North Star. I think I told you guys about this before. Also came out in the 80s, and it's a bit more of a post-apocalyptic world where this guy, Kenshiro, he kind of wanders this sort of wasteland, and he's like more than proficient in this sort of like style of martial arts where he knows the pressure points of the body, and he'll like people will like kind of come up to him, try to fight him, and just put his fingertips on their head like this. And then you'll like release them, and their head blows up and shit like that. It's really cool. I like it. I don't know.
A bit over the top. I mean, the only anime I really, really do love, and I do love it a lot, is One Punch Man. I fucking love that shit. But it's more the idea that this guy can just be like, okay, and then bam! Like I love that idea.
They get a lot of that from Fist of the North Star, I think.
Yeah.
Because Kenshiro is just like a badass dude. He's fucking like huge and bulky, just fucking like walks. He's like, yeah, what do you want?
I think it's the sarcasm I really like. I forgot. Sorry, guys. I know I said I love One Punch Man, but I forget the characters' names. But he got this sidekick, and he's always like, "I will do anything for you, master. I will fight for you." And there's all these flames behind him. I train, I destroy, and he's this really powerful guy. And even then, One Punch Man's like, okay.
I didn't ask you to, but yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So, okay, we'll do this experiment then. You send me the link or the picture or the whatever it is you want me to watch. I'll watch it and I'll genuinely let you know.
I think I'll try to look it up on YouTube and I'll try and send you something like that. But
okay,
I think they have something.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Sharp book, it better be good. What's the new one called actually? I've got a picture of the Sharp's Tiger book. If anybody ever wants to, I know you like your history, David, but that's Sharp's Tiger there. Bernard Cornwell.
Huh.
So there's that. You tell when Tom's not here, we're talking about books we want to read, but Tom likes his audio books, I suppose. New Sharp book. Let's have a look at that. But when it comes to trying new things, though, it comes to like trying. Have you tried anything new recently when it comes to like movies or TV or anything like that? How did
Actually,
you
yes,
feel about it?
I started watching that show, What We Do in the Shadows.
I
Yeah.
love the show. It's so good.
So I love the movie, and for the longest time, like, obviously it was just the movie, and only about 4 years ago when they had the TV show come out.
Yeah.
And so I was excited for that, but I had only kind of like watched the first episode. It's not like I wasn't sold on it. It's just like I never like kept up with it. I didn't watch it weekly, like sort of religiously, the way I would, like a Rick and Morty or like the first 48 or something. So I was like, you know what, man, my friend was telling me about it because the song came on, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, and everything's gone, like that. Because I have it on one of my playlists on YouTube. When I was driving him around, he's like, dude, did you watch that show? I'm like, I've only watched the first episode. He's like, watch it. It's fucking funny. And I've been like cracking up, dude. There's like so many sort of like quotes that I have. I think Nadja, the female vampire, I think she is like my favorite, probably for sure my favorite character of this
I like
movie,
the energy vampire. He's so
yeah.
fucking
She's so fucking funny, dude. She is hilarious. I like when she's like at the window and they're stalking the girl that she turns into a vampire. She's like, what she say? She's like, she's like, have strength, my little stupid vampire. Soon they will all be dead, and you will do a shit on their graves.
I love the werewolves too. The werewolves.
Yeah, Arch Barker. I was surprised to see Arch Barker, dude, because I love Arch. Okay, I knew Arch Barker from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah,
yeah, he was in there, and then I remember watching some of his stand-up bits when he was in Australia, and he does some of the funniest fucking like Australian accents, like an impression. He's like, yeah, everybody in Australia curses. You're like, hey, excuse me, how do I get to this place? Like, oh yeah, you go up 3 blocks, and then you fucking make a right. And it's right on the left-hand side. You can't miss the cunt. Thank you, officer. like everybody swears in Australia, dude. It's the funniest fucking shit. So I was surprised to see him in there, and I was like, kind of lost my shit. But I do love Arch Barker, and the whole cast, dude. Like Craig Robinson's in there for a bit, Oh man, it's Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Bojack Novak. What's his name? Bojan Novak. The guy that plays the main character, Bojan Novak. No.
The main Nandor, right? Is it?
What's his name? Oh, fuck. He did a TV show here in the UK called Phone Jacker. I'm gonna just
Phone Jacker.
Phone Jacker, right? And he is one of the best people on the planet with accents. And this is what he used to do. He used to ring up people. And I can't, what's his name? Kaivan Novak. That's the guy who plays, Kaivan Novak.
Nandor. The Relentless.
Yeah.
Because I would never relent.
And he used to ring people up as a mouse and be like, yo, I've got a mouse trap. How do you disarm a mouse trap? And he'd ring up like mobile phone stores or something. Like he would just literally prank people with these amazing accents, and that's how he became famous. And he was also in Four Lions as well, the film about suicide bombers. If you've never seen that, it's a British film called Four Lions, and it's about 4 people who want to become suicide bombers.
Is it a comedy or is that a drama?
Oh, it's a comedy. It's a very
good, because I'm like, I kind of want to laugh at that already, but I just want to make sure, like, what?
Oh, it's so good. It's so dark, but so good. Four Lions is definitely So Kaivan Novak is in that, and the way he's trying to explain like why are we blowing ourselves up, bruv? And he's like, well, it's like when you're at Alton Towers, yeah, and it's just a theme park here in the UK. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's like you want to go to Rubber Dinghy Rapids, yeah. But you skip to the front of the queue, innit? He's like, oh, all right, okay, so that's why we're doing this. Yeah, that's why we're doing this. So we get to the front of the queue. Yeah. And at the end, I'm kind of going to spoil it for you, but there's still so much to see in the film. Kaivan Novak's character sat in a restaurant. Everything's gone all shit tits up, and the police are surrounding him with rifles, MP5 and stuff, and he's got his gear on, he's got his bomb and stuff. And they're like, oh, "Why are you doing this?" And he looks at the cop and goes, "Rubber Dinghy Rapids, bruv." Poof! He blows it. Fucking amazing. It's one of the best things ever. So yeah, go and watch 4 Lions. Brilliant. Kaivan Novak. Right, okay, so we've been going for half an hour, man. David, I'm so sorry I fucked up your time today, and thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you for apologizing. We really appreciate that. It's all good, brother. It's all good.
Oh, God. And obviously, Pod 8 is gone now. I can't say too much on it because I'm recording this before Pod 8, but I hope it all went well. It's
hope it goes well.
Future
I'm
out.
excited,
Well done. I hope you get over the mental breakdown and it didn't go too badly. But I'm going to say now, thank you so much to the guys at Reach for helping us with Pod 8. We've needed a kick up the ass a few times to get over that finishing line. You guys understand social media. We don't. So there's a bit of frustration there. But you guys have been fantastic. You designed the logos and you ran our social media. You put up my bullshit. So thank you so much, Reach, for doing what you did. Also, thank you to Shrewsbury Town, the community, for letting us use your hub as a venue for the whole time. I hope the stains came out the carpet. I'm joking. And also thank you to Lingen Davis, because I know we've made the money for Lingen Davis, but with the communication we've had with them throughout the whole thing has been fantastic. To Helen, to Anna, to Lizzie, to Naomi, and to everybody else out there, everybody at the actual ward at the Lingen Davis Centre when we did the tours. Thank you so much for being amazing and being accommodating and helping us help you. It's been fantastic. It really has. And also thank you to my team, David, to oh God, I'm going to try naming everybody now. I'm going to piss someone off by forgetting. To David, to Tom, to Jamie, to Shane, Jules, my wife, Timmy. Fuck, I've done this now, haven't I?
Yep, you've got people.
Yeah.
To everyone.
If you helped us out, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Try not to burp. Sometimes it's better just to let it out, isn't it? Rather than go.
Because it burns. It's in your esophagus. You're like, fuck, I just want to let it out, man. Fuck.
It's like trying not to yawn. Have you ever tried that?
Mm-hmm. I went Kerouac for a while. Yeah.
Well, anyway, let me tell you about a few things that's going on. We have, as part of the USUK network for now, we have Yelling at Clouds, which is a show that I do with Eric Pfluger. He is our resident artist in Clever Clogs, and we do a show where he can teach us about art by ranting about things. And the latest episodes, we've got parts 1 and 2 of Attack of 1970s in Space. And it was basically, we talked about the artistic relevance and the importance of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, because it wasn't very well received really by the fans, but artistically there's a lot of brilliance there. So we talked about that. Every Wednesday we have Wednesday Night Live at 9 p.m. UK time. That is 5 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern time. My time zones are shit, as you can tell. And that is where it's almost like meeting up at the pub. We meet up, we chat with you guys, the listeners, to our whoever we've got on the show, whether it's David, whether it's Tom, whether it's a guest. And we also have What's the Difference podcast. The show we did 2 weeks ago was with the amazing Tanisha Collins, who was a fantastic guest. She was on Fatherhood with Kevin Hart. She's a great actress, and she was very, very charming on the show. And we have our website as well, so go to usuknetwork.com. You can find everything you need to know about what we do there, play the episodes, and you know what? If you need a website, make sure you go to the guys at Web Orchard who made that for us. They make a great website, and they can make you look very good, make you look better than us. Absolutely. Because even though our website looks fantastic, I look like this. So think of the things you can do. Thank you, Daniel Goodman, for coming on, for letting us step into your world. Yeah. It was. I mean, it's not my world. It really isn't my world. But learning about it, I was genuinely getting this.
Man.
Yeah. So it was good. David, man, I love you.
Love you too, brother.
Yeah. This has been What's the Difference podcast. I've been Alex Whiteley.
I'm David Rabe.
And we're going to get the fuck out of here. Peace out, guys.
Hi, this is Ickis from RL Monsters. And I would like very much to ask you, if you don't mind, to watch the USUK Network with Tom, Bruno, and Alex. Wait. Oh, that's all. I have to go flush myself now.